So you want to learn how to color in some eyes? Well, lucky for you, I'll be teaching you how to do that in some simple steps. If you guys never watched my previous video, make sure to go back and watch that because it's going to take you through the fundamentals on how to draw an eye. So you need to know that part first before coming onto this video. Coloring eyes are very simple. You just need to understand one rule. Well, there's a couple of rules you need to understand. There's one major rule that you really need to understand. As I mentioned in the previous video, that is the cornea. I'm going to show you some diagrams right now so I can further explain what I'm actually talking about so it doesn't sound so confusing, but you just need to remember the cornea comes out and the iris dips in like a bowl. Understanding that, you'll know where the light source is going to be coming from, how the light's going to be looking on the eye. So that is a major key that you've got to remember going forward in this lesson. So right now I'm going to take you through some examples so you understand a bit more what I'm actually talking about. We're just drawing a very, very simple eye. Very simple. Nothing too crazy. Right? Just going to draw this eye so I can explain to you guys what the hell I am talking about. So first of all, you're going to color in your eyeball. And you gotta remember that the eyeball is not actually white. It's actually like a grayish color. So whenever you do this part, don't actually color it in white. Pick like more of a gray color, then lighten it out as you go along. Remember guys, it's a ball, right? The eyeball is not a flat shape, it's actually a ball. So first going to color that in, find the color, color that in, right? Nothing too major, just like that, nothing too major. Follow the shape of the eye. That's all that I can really recommend here. Just follow the shape of the eye and follow the curvature of the eye because you want to give it that 3D type of look, right? Just remember when you're coloring in the eyeball that you're going around the eye, not just keeping it as a flat shape. So here you can just pick a random color, just whatever color you want to go for. For me, I'm just going to go with a simple brown color, just like that. Lovely, right? Simple. Just an eye color, right? This part, we're going to add the pupil in. It's already looking like a real eye and we've just begun. We know that the light source is coming from the top, and because it's coming from the top, we're going to get a reflection at the bottom of the eye. Because the iris indented, the bottom of the iris is going to be lit up and the top of the iris is going to be a lot more darker. Once you've got your base color down, you're just going to pick a lighter color for the bottom. Simple, right? Just color in the bottom, give that more of a lighter look. Nothing too crazy, right? Just that 1, 2, 3. And then, so once you've got your light source at the bottom, you're just going to find a darker color for the top of your eye. So what you're going to do is you're just going to pick the same color before and you're going to change it into a darker color, a darker version of it. And then what you do then is just color in that top. And then you'll fade it in, you'll fade it down. You know at the top it's going to be a lot more darker because the eyelid is covering it. And you know that the iris is indented, so the bottom is going to be a lot more brighter than the top. And then from this point on, you just have to clean up your lines a little bit more. I'm just going to go in a little bit and just clean up the lines. Don't be afraid to actually make the eyeball a lot more darker as well, like where the shadows are going to be, because it makes it stand out a lot more if you add a lot more darker tones to it, because it's going to bring out that depth instead of keeping it very, very light. It's already starting to look a lot more better. And when it comes to adding the highlights, never go with a complete white color. Like at least have it a little bit more gray or a little bit more blue, depending on what your environment's going to be. You never want to go completely white with the highlights. And then I'm gonna pick a bluish color for the highlights, and I'm just gonna add that in there right now. And you know, be very confident with your highlights, you know. You want to be confident with these when it comes to highlights, and yeah, because they're very strong, you know. You don't want to kind of go like low with them and like hold back. Just be confident with your highlights. Maybe you could also get some over here, some reflection light from your environment. You know, just gonna add that in a little bit more in to kind of show you. Beautiful, beautiful. You can clearly see the different contrast in the two different colors, from the light source to the dark source, and it blending together. That's kind of what you want to go for. But let's move on to the next step. So right now we have some reference in front of us and we're going to go through the steps again, right? So step number 1 is finding the color. Just like that, just like how we did before, right? We've picked out the color, very simple, that's it. Just all you gotta do is just pick out the color. Simple, right? Right. You're just going to add the pupil in. As you can see, the pupil is somewhere about here. And look at the reference, right? You can already see it's a lot more darker, right? And at the bottom, it's where it's lit up. It's because the light source is coming from the top. We've picked the eye color. We're gonna add in the gray for the eyeball, all right? Like I said before, don't be afraid to make it a lot more darker, just to really indicate where that shadow source is coming from and the fact that the eye is a ball. I've said that so many times, but I'm really trying to drill this into your head so don't forget this stuff, because when I was first starting out, these are the mistakes I used to always make every single time. And I never really understood why my eye always looked so just not real, you know? So, you know, I'm trying to save you guys the trouble. But anyway, enough of that. We've added in the color for the tear duct. All we need to do now is find the light source. And so look, you can even go in here on your reference. Go your reference over here. Ooh, look how beautiful. Look how beautiful that color is. Just glowing. It's just screaming at us. And then we start adding in the darker side to it, just at the top. You see how you can clearly see that there's two different colors right now. We're going to blend it in so it's going to look a lot more natural as we go along. From right now, I'm just going to go into my blend tool and I'm going to start blending that in. No, blending that in just like that. Just like this. Keeping it very simple. As you can also see, it tends to get a bit more darker around this edge as well. Just like that. We're going to add in the highlight to complete this whole drawing. I feel like the highlights look like they're a bit blue there, so I'm just going to add that in. Some over here. You can also see some highlights on the eyeball here as well, so you might want to add that in as well. You know, you start to see these little highlights appearing in other places in the eye. It's not just on the iris. I can go into this highlight. I can start rubbing some stuff out to kind of create the same shape as I see from the reference. I see some strands there, so maybe I might want to go in there and start removing some highlights like that. It just really depends on how far you really want to go with this. As long as you follow them sort of basics, you can't go wrong. It's just how much detail are you going to start adding into this to make it look a lot more better. Okay, so for another example. I've got the examples for you today. I'm going to pick the eye color. All right, we're going to fill that in. Just like this, just how we spoke about before. We're gonna fill that eye color in. Then we're gonna color in the white of the eye. Make it a lot more darker over here because the eyelid is obstructing the eye. It's actually quite light over here actually. And then we're gonna add in the tear duct. From there, we are going to color in the pupil. Right there, you can see right in the middle, right there. And then what we're going to do here is we are going to change the hue of the eye, get a darker color in there, and then we're going to get a darker color in. And either way, if you want to start with the lighter color first or the darker color first, it's completely up to you. It's however you want to do it. Get a lighter source at the bottom over here, fade that in. I'm going to go a lot more darker at the top over here because as you can see from my reference over here, it's a lot more darker at the top. You can see it, right? When you add these contrasts in from between light and dark, that's how you're going to get the eye to really pop. Fade that in, curve around the eye. Just blend everything in. You know, just blend it all in. I'm either going to choose a darker color and I'm going to take it a step further. Just like this, I'm going to take it even a step further to really bring out that contrast. I can really see the difference in contrast right now with between the light source at the bottom and the dark source at the top. And then going by the reference, I'm going to start adding in the highlights. Fade that in a little bit. I'll just add that in here. Can either fade that in, you know what I mean, just like that. And then what I can do right now is I can go even a little bit more lighter. I can go a little bit more lighter with the highlight here because I can really see that the white here is really popping. So not too much. I just want to create a little subtle effect. Right? That's all I want to do, create a subtle effect. There you go, just like that. And even from the highlight, you can see it's a lot more lighter here, and it fades into a more darker color as I go more at the top. All right, guys, we're gonna do this one more time, right? Let's circle back one more time. And we've got our eye, we've drawn our reference in. We're going to apply the eye color right now, just like that. Just like that. Then we color in our eyeball. Just look at the reference, see where it's more darker. Around the middle over here, it gets a bit more lighter. So we make this part here a little bit more lighter. Right, keep it simple, nothing too complex. We're gonna add in our pupil right in the center. On the last example, I started off with the darker color first. Right now, I'm gonna start off with the lighter color, just to show you guys you can really start whichever way that you want to go. You get this green. There's not really so much of a light source in this eye, so I'm going to go too heavy with the light source here because it's very minimal. So I'm not gonna go too crazy. But anyway, we go into the dark side. In this reference that I'm copying right now, you can really see that the darks are really dark in this one, a lot more than the other one. So I'm gonna go even more extreme here. The rims over here, the rims are so much more darker. It looks really nice though. I like the way how this eye looks right now. It's a bit more different from the other eyes that we've drawn today. You can take it a next step further, and by adding a lot more details into the iris. Like, I'm gonna do this right now so I can just show you guys really quick how this looks. I'm gonna pick a green color and we're gonna make it a little bit more darker because that's how it looks like in the reference. Some strands of green here coming in and out. And with these simple details, when we start adding them, it just makes the drawing look more alive. And from here on out, I'm gonna add in the highlights now. And like I said, guys, be confident with your highlights. Add some there. We have some over here. And like I showed you guys before with the highlights, what I like to tend to do, this is just something that I do. I use my eraser and I start shaping how I want this highlight to look, you know? So if I wanted to get rid of certain parts, I start erasing it just so I can create the shape that I want from this highlight. Just until I'm happy with the outcome. I can even go into the airbrush and start erasing some of this highlight in. Oh yeah, I did forget one thing. I forgot to add the color in for the tear duct, so I'm gonna do that right now. And as you can see, guys, voila. So that's pretty much the formula, guys. There's not really a lot to it. If you can just follow these simple steps, you can start creating so many different eye colors and different sort of eyes to your heart desires. And I'm telling you guys, once you just follow these sort of steps, first you add the eye color and then you add the shadows, color in the tear duct, and then start adding the highlights at the end. I'm telling you guys, you cannot go wrong. This method will save you. You can run back to me and say, thank you, Sage, for teaching me how to do this. If you guys want me to, I can go a lot more in depth with this video. As I said before, let me know in the comments. And guys, if you haven't watched my video before this one, definitely make sure to watch that one, because in the previous video, we went over how to actually draw an eye. So you're going to want to watch that one first and then come back to this video and rewatch this one. So I'm always looking at the comments. So if you do want me to go over this in a bit more detail, I'm very happy to do so. Just let me know in the comments. I'm there, I'm watching, I'm reading, so just let me know, guys. But yeah, guys, that's it for today. So if you guys did like the video, make sure to give it a like. And if you want to see more of my work, you can always follow my Instagram. It's in the description below. Light source, shadow source, eyeball, highlight, done.